Who would have thought? The Spurs actually defeated the Thunder in yesterday's NBA Cup Western Conference Finals. They demonstrated to other teams how to beat this seemingly invincible squad. In this game, Wembanyama made a timely return from injury, showing the world who is the true king of the new era. He played 21 minutes, recorded a remarkable +21+-, and scored 22 points with 9 rebounds, completely suppressing his rival Chet on both ends of the floor. Castle's fighting spirit was truly moving, as he continued to play even with a bloody nose. The Thunder, on the other hand, were dealt a heavy blow, with the entire team shooting poorly from three-point range, and SGA missing crucial shots in key moments. Ultimately, the Spurs defeated the Thunder 111-109 and proudly advanced to the NBA Cup Finals. So, just how terrifying is Wembanyama's on-court impact? Could this Spurs team be a championship contender this year? What issues did the Thunder expose with their upset loss? After missing 12 games, Wembanyama chose to return for this critical matchup. Due to a minute's restriction, the team had him come off the bench. He sat out the entire first quarter, only entering the game in the second quarter. Without his two-way presence, the Spurs indeed struggled to match the Thunder's intensity, trailing by 11 points after the first quarter. In the second quarter, the highly anticipated Wembanyama finally made his dazzling entrance. His impact was immediate. First, he easily scored a one-handed putback over Jalen, who was significantly shorter. In the next play, he further demonstrated his incredible talent, leaping high to attempt a block on Jalen's shot. After being pump-faked, he surprisingly managed to quickly turn and block Hartenstein. On the final possession of the quarter, he dribbled continuously at the top of the key to control the rhythm, and facing Hartenstein, hit a super deep three-pointer from a step beyond the arc. It's not uncommon for tall players to shoot threes, but as basketball has evolved into 2025, this planet has now produced a 226 centimeters athlete who can also shoot from deep range. That person is Wembanyama. During his minutes in this quarter, the Spurs overpowered the Thunder on both ends, successfully narrowing the deficit to 3 points by halftime. However, the Thunder are a super team that once had a 24-1 record. Even if Wembanyama seems like an alien, they wouldn't be easily defeated. In the third quarter, they intensified their defensive efforts against Wembanyama, including some controversial actions. The following sequence epitomized Wembanyama's third quarter. He drove into the paint, and 3 surrounding Thunder players quickly double-teamed him. The Thunder stopped this possession, but the referee's decision not to call a foul is perhaps debatable. As the game entered the fourth quarter, the Thunder's defensive strategy remained having Jalen primarily guard Wembanyama, but with such a significant height disadvantage, Wembanyama's shot was virtually uncontested, as he hit a fadeaway jumper over Jalen for another 2 points. In this play, Kaysen was even matched up against Wembanyama. Although Chet helped in time, Wembanyama's physical attributes are simply too outstanding. He made the shot even while off balance, which was unbelievable. This quarter, the Thunder continued employing the strategy of Jalen bodying him low and Chet providing help defense, but Wembanyama didn't fall into the Thunder's trap. He simply maximized his height advantage. This possession, Castle inbound from the baseline. Wembanyama gave a look. Castle immediately understood, and threw a lob assisting the former for a one-handed dunk. Jalen underneath was helpless against this monster, could only watch respectfully. The next play was arguably the most exciting moment of the entire game. Facing Caruso, Wembanyama demanded the ball at the high post. He dribbled left, intending to take a strong mid-range jumper, but Caruso poked the ball away. Wembanyama quickly adjusted and hit the mid-range shot on the second attempt, giving the Spurs the lead. Subsequently, Wembanyama pointed at Caruso and shouted trash talk to vent his anger. In the final moments, as SGA missed consecutive three-pointers, the Spurs successfully secured the victory. For the game, Wembanyama shot 6-for-11, 9-for-12 from the free throw line, amassing 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks in just 21 minutes, with the team outscoring opponents by 21 points during his time on the court. It's fair to say the primary reason for the Spurs' victory was Wembanyama's return. Next, let's discuss how Wembanyama impacts the game on both ends of the floor. Wembanyama is most widely known for his terrifying physical attributes. NBA history has seen 226 centimeters giants before, but few also possess a 244 centimeters wingspan. Such physical gifts make the painted area Wembanyama's exclusive comfort zone. He averages a high 11.1 points in the paint per game this season, with a rim field goal percentage of 64.4%. Although post physicality remains somewhat challenging, he can score using his length without needing much contact. The biggest difference offensively between him and traditional giants is his developed shooting ability. This season, Wembanyama's three-point percentage has reached 35.6%, a career high, showing a yearly upward trend. He has already acquired the ability to shoot off the dribble, with respectable volume. The fadeaway jumper he used multiple times against Jalen in this game has also been added to his regular arsenal this season. This gives him an additional offensive option when operating as a hub from the foul line. Defenders must stick close to him at all times, needing to guard against both his passing and his shooting. On the defensive end, Wembanyama's defensive statistics and deterrent effect might be the best of the 21st century. Some even believe he surpasses peak Dwight Howard. He averages 10.6 defensive rebounds per game this season, with an astonishing defensive rebound rate of 28.7%, second only to the rebounding king from the previous era, Andre Drummond. The quality of Wembanyama's defensive rebounds is very high. He rarely gets easy gimme rebounds with teammates boxing out. The Spurs don't have many players who actively box out for rebounds. Often he even needs to box out multiple opponents by himself. Furthermore, Wembanyama secures a large number of defensive rebounds directly after successfully stopping an opponent's possession. This further enhances the quality of his rebound statistics. Rim protection is the area where Wembanyama's defensive impact is greatest. He averages 3.5 blocks per game this season, leading all players by a significant margin. NBA rim protectors now fall into two categories, one called Wembanyama, and the rest called others. Chet's physical gifts are already top tier, but against Wembanyama, he was utterly dominated. Unlike traditional rim-protecting centers, Wembanyama excels immensely in switching onto perimeter players and contesting outside shots. This is a primary reason some believe his defensive capability surpasses Howard's. When matched up against perimeter ball handlers, his footwork doesn't lag at all. He can stay with the offensive player, using his enormous frame to disrupt shots. More terrifying than the stats is Wembanyama's defensive deterrence. In the win over the Thunder, when he was on the court, SGA and Jalen significantly increased their mid to long range attempts, reducing their frequency of attacking the basket. SGA, who averages 12.1 points in the paint, made only 3 baskets inside this game. Jalen was just 2 for 7 inside. In past games, these two have been very potent at attacking the rim, but against Wembanyama, they mostly had to settle for outside shots. Other centers playing drop coverage truly only protect the rim, but Wembanyama's drop coverage can also cover the mid-range area. His defensive coverage is simply too vast, which counters SGA and Jalen, who love taking mid-range shots, and they lack the ability to shoot ultra-deep threes, unable to punish the Spurs with range like Curry did in the past. This is Wembanyama's unparalleled defensive deterrence. He doesn't need to block shots to alter opponents' offensive strategies. Having discussed Wembanyama, let's now talk about the other Spurs players. Actually, the Spurs didn't shoot well from 3 in this game. The usually sharp Barnes went a combined 0 for 8 from beyond the arc. Fortunately, Fox, Castle, and Vassell all scored 20-plus points, which helped the team narrowly escape with a victory. Castle and Vassell's consecutive scoring during the tight moments of the final quarter demonstrated a level of clutch performance rare for their age. The team's primary point guard, Fox, is improving with each game. His three-point percentage this season has recovered to 39.1%. After defeating the Thunder, the fully formed Spurs are also considered by outsiders as one of the championship favorites this year. They currently stand at 18 wins and 7 losses, their best start since the 2016-17 season. Previously surfaced rumors about dismantling the team to acquire Giannis were dispelled by reporter Stein, who stated, "The Spurs are satisfied with the current situation and have no intention of trading for Giannis. From a personal perspective, I'm also quite happy to see a team defeat the Thunder. After all, this reignites the Western Conference landscape, which previously lacked much suspense." Finally, let's discuss the problems exposed by the losing Thunder. Even with the loss, they are still the best team this season. However, in a single elimination game, they can be defeated by players who exceed their defensive coverage. Like Wembanyama, their defensive strategy was to have a stout wing like Jalen guard him closely. with Chet providing help. But Wembanyama's clever countermeasures caused problems for the Thunder. He didn't insist on attacking the basket, but instead took more jump shots, often leaving Chet with no way to effectively use his strength. But in a best-of-7 series, the Thunder have sufficient time and opportunities to adjust their strategy. This team's foundation is still very solid. However, the Thunder must also address their three-point shooting issues. This game they shot only 24.3% from deep, especially in the final stages, when defensive intensity from both sides was maxed out. The Thunder's three-point shooting completely lost its accuracy. On another note, the Thunder's defensive physicality has recently been questioned by outsiders. Booker publicly stated that Thunder players are adept at using subtle fouls to disrupt your rhythm while dribbling, but smartly avoid contact during shots to prevent foul calls. This statement instantly resonated with many fans who are dissatisfied with the Thunder's defensive tactics. This game, Caruso's excessively physical defense also sparked significant controversy, prompting even the usually low-key and humble Wembanyama to curse. Therefore, if the league subsequently cracks down on the Thunder's defensive actions, their dominance might decline. At that time, the fully formed Spurs with Wembanyama could potentially be the biggest dark horse in the championship race. So, does everyone think Wembanyama has a chance to lead the Spurs to win the championship?